my skin does impact the fact that I am being stopped by an officer. It is still going to impact that encounter no matter how many sirs, ma'ams, and respect that I conduct myself with during that stop.
And a regular white boy can just curse off the cops and just get detained, and without violence.
This is the tipping point. This is the tipping point for policing in America.
Police may not think they treat people of color differently, but that's not the feeling in much of the black community.
With the spotlight now shining more brightly than ever on law enforcement, what are local law enforcement leaders doing to bridge the gap and fix an historically troubled relationship?
Everybody talks about black on black crime, but the 12 times I had a gun in my face, it was 2 black officers and 10 white officers. So 12 times I've had a gun pulled on me by people that are supposed to protect and serve my person and my livelihood.
At an Independence Day protest in downtown Orlando, we caught up with Amp de Truth, the name this activist chose for himself to speak out against injustice and inequality.
I grew up around gang members, and they taught me. Violent members of society taught me how to handle myself professionally with cops. And if that doesn't speak volumes, I don't know what will. To have a checklist before you get in your car or even go outside the door in the morning, it's depressing, and it shouldn't happen.
So what do our local law enforcement agencies plan to do about it?
I think the most important thing that we can do right now is listen to the concerns of the community members, and also balance that out with what we do.
Meet Captain Tony Marlowe. He's the Sector 3 commander with the Orange County Sheriff's Office.
We run the gamut from, rich, filthy rich to, poverty. But, I expect all of my officers that work for me and throughout the organization that we treat, people in Windermere the same that we treat in Pine Hills. There's no difference.
The Sheriff's Office recently used grant funding to add 16 deputies in Pine Hills to work on further community policing. In Apopka, Pine Hills, Barnett Park, and more, he's held barbecues to focus on conversations and engagement.
And if there's anything that we're not doing that's of concern to the community, address it. The conversations, of course, they're going to be tough. Some of them are going to be uncomfortable, but without struggle, there is no progress. So it's important for us to listen and then take the appropriate action, as long as it's reasonable, to make whatever changes that we need to make. I'm a member of this community. I'm just like them. I don't see myself any different than anyone else. I get along with all people, and I think the important thing is to see me as a man first. Obviously I'm African American, and I can't change that, but give me an opportunity, the same opportunity that I would give anyone else.
And with the nation at a tipping point, the opportunity may be there to change.
The best thing that we can do as a profession is when we see individuals engaging in misconduct like that, we condemn it and we get those people out of our profession, because it is making it hard for all law enforcement officers that are doing good.
I've had a few experiences with police.
Taylor Mack, a Central Florida educator, told us she wants the professionals in law enforcement to act that way.
I'm a teacher, so my job is to protect students with attitudes, students who are who they deem bad, every type of student. So if your job is to protect, you protect me no matter what my attitude is. So I don't care what my attitude is. You know what your job is. You uphold your job first, and don't worry about what I'm giving off.
Our profession is not perfect. Undoubtedly, there have been some things that have not been done right in our profession, even here within our department. But I think we also need to look at what we have done to address those situations and what our efforts have been moving forward.
Orlando's top cop, Chief Orlando Rolone, says the spotlight is on law enforcement to change, and the spotlight is one that shows the pitfalls in the profession, and needs to. But he also says they need to do a better job highlighting the good, including a grant program affording 10 additional community service officers and 10% of the department's operational funds.
If you look at our budget, technically, although they may be sworn officers, about $17 million worth of pay and benefits and programs that we have here is really geared towards community relations, community engagement. So that's a pretty significant amount of money compared to other agencies.
The chief also talked about the calls for his department to change following more than a week's worth of protest, where we watched some demonstrators clash with officers who then used smoke and pepper spray.
Unfortunately, those smoke canisters began to fly back at the officers. Some got hit in the face. One actually had a broken nose as a result of one of the injuries that was received. We didn't talk much about that. A lot of vehicles were also damaged. We didn't talk about that. What we always try to do is we try to facilitate a process, especially during this emotional time here in our nation, where we understand that people are wanting to voice their concerns about the actions that some law enforcement officers have taken in other parts of the country. We are always constantly looking for ways to enhance the way we police our community. We are always looking for ways to enhance the trust or the ability to earn trust from our citizens. But more important, we've always and we've tried our best to try to safeguard that trust that we have earned. Moving forward, we need to recognize that this is a time to listen. We have got to listen to our citizens. We have got to pay attention to what they're telling us. We need to evaluate what the concerns are that are being brought up with the law enforcement profession, especially our officers here in the city of Orlando.
Chief Ralone recently announced his officers will not use chokeholds and they won't use no-knock warrants. De-escalation training will expand for the department, and he says he's pushing for more bridge building with the community.
So the community-oriented policing concept is one that works. It is one that every officer who wears a uniform should embrace. We have got to make sure that when we have the opportunity to, when we're not responding for calls for service, to engage our citizens, to engage our youth, to engage our elderlies who live in our communities, to allow our citizens to get to know them better. And that's what builds the trust and relationships that could yield potentially us getting information to solve a crime, for us to get information about activity that's taken place so that we can address it. It is definitely something that enhances the quality of life in neighborhoods.
So what next?
I think there's still a lot of progress to be made. Yes, we have had our community barbecues. We have had a very successful neighborhood watch program just around the corner from here that won Neighborhood Watch Program of the Year. We've had a lot of development thanks to Commissioner Hill, who has been very instrumental in bringing new housing into this area. The road ahead is still filled with opportunities to make things better.
And that's the goal. Better and, of course, equal.
The killing of George Floyd is forcing Americans to start talking and face this head on.
The conversation is already a step in the right direction. We just have to continue working on it.
That means all of us and the people we put into office.